Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening. I'm saying good evening to the president, to the first vice chair, to the interim chairman of the women's group, to all members and guests present.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. I think that as we are filling in the room, I just wait for it to fill in a little. I can see the numbers rising before I go ahead, introduce myself and introduce this session today. Are we recording yet? Please, team, let's make sure that we're recording so that everyone can have access to this afterwards. Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome, everyone. Wow. Thank you for joining in good time. Good evening, distinguished ladies, gentlemen or gentlemen. I welcome you all to this fireside chat, in the first in our Boardroom Diaries series. My name is Yetunde Bankole Bernard, M.CIoD. Thank you all for making time and for being on time. So just to go straight into it, this is one of those moments where leaders are coming together, not just to listen, but to sharpen one another. We have an exceptional session ahead. We have a guest speaker. As we go along, you would know, of course, I'm sure you know who it is already, but we'll introduce her properly. There's also a moderator for tonight's conversation. But before I go into all of that, I would like to say that tonight is supposed to ignite thought, stir reflection, and offer rare access to the wisdom, the lessons, and should I say honest, true stories behind leadership at the highest levels. At our distinguished institute, these are some of the values that we hold dear, that we not just show up, but we show up stronger, more confident. And tonight is going to be a testament of one of those moments. So to officially open this remarkable evening, I'm going to be introducing the interim chairman of the women's group and host, a seasoned legal and governance professional with over 35 years of experience across private practice, corporate leadership, and public service, the delectable Mrs. Ronke Shoke from F.CIoD. Ma'am, it's your floor right now. I'm welcoming you to this remarkable evening and would like to hear from you at this point, if you are ready.
Thank you very much, YBB. Yesterday is fondly called YBB. So if you hear me say YBB, I'm referring to her. Mr. President, Madam First Vice President, our special guest this evening, the authentic and inspiring Auntie Mo. Esteemed members of the women's group, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you all to the premier session, or if you would, the opening conversation in the Boardroom Diaries series. This is a platform designed for candid conversations, meaningful insights, and inspiration from some of the most remarkable minds of our time. In this space, we share stories, we spark ideas, and learn from leaders who are shaping the world around us. Allow me also to take a moment to speak very briefly about the CIoD Women's Group. We're a vibrant, purpose-driven community committed to developing and empowering female leaders, strengthening corporate leadership capacity, and amplifying the voices and influence of women across sectors. Our mandate is to create platforms that promote excellence, visibility, and board readiness. As part of our 2025-2026 calendar, we're rolling out a series of high-impact programs, the Boardroom Diaries, the CEO's Roundtable, networking cocktails, women's luncheon, and of course, our annual conference. All these are carefully curated to equip our members for boardroom capacity building, strategic influence, networking, and personal growth. Tonight's session is just the beginning. For today's session, we're honored to feature a trailblazer whose career is nothing short of extraordinary. Dr. Mrs. Mosun Belo-Olusoga, affectionately known to many as Auntie Mo. Auntie Mo is a woman of many firsts. From being the first female executive director of Guaranty Trust Bank to overseeing the phenomenal growth of Access Bank as its chairman, to breaking barriers in pension management and higher education governance. Her legacy is indeed a testament to excellence, to resilience, and to visionary leadership. She has served and indeed continues to serve at the helm of major corporations, steering growth, fostering innovation, and opening doors for countless professionals, especially women, in banking and, of course, in corporate leadership. Her academic and professional journey is equally impressive, graduating with distinction from the University of Ibadan, qualifying as a chartered accountant with top honors, and sharpening her expertise at world-class institutions such as Harvard, M.CIoD, Columbia, Kellogg, and Chicago Booth. Auntie Mo, I plan to follow in your footsteps by adding Columbia and Chicago Booth to my CV very soon. Beyond the boardroom, Auntie Mo's passion for knowledge sharing and mentoring the next generation led her to establish the City of Knowledge Academy, nurturing socially responsible and culturally balanced young adults. Today's conversation promises not just to be enlightening, but also deeply inspiring. We're here to learn not just from her achievements, but from her insights, her values, and her vision for leadership in an ever-evolving world. We're here to listen to how she thinks, how she leads, and how she inspires. Without further ado, on behalf of the Women's Group, I extend a warm welcome to you, Auntie Mo. Let us prepare ourselves for a session filled with wisdom, filled with reflection, and practical guidance. And perhaps, knowing Auntie Mo, a few surprises. Do enjoy the session. I welcome you all. YBB, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for that precise and short, but, deeply, I say, interesting and motivating message, Interim Chairman. Before I go further, I'd like to welcome somebody on this occasion. This evening, I'd like to welcome a woman who is passionate about women, a distinguished leader and inspiration to many, someone who I can effectively call the Institute's first woman, one who is not only committed to the ideals of the Institute, but also makes it a point of duty to encourage the participation of members, especially women, at key events. I have the honor and privilege of inviting the Institute's first Vice President, Mrs. Amina Oyagbola, F.CIoD, to give her goodwill message. The floor is yours, ma'am. Good evening, good evening.
Thank you very much for the very, very warm and kind introduction. And I'd like to recognize Mr. President, who is on this call. Thank you for your inspiration. Thank you for your support, Mr. President. Thank you for always being there. And thank you for your spirit of inclusion, which I know is embedded in your heart and in your mind. And on that note, I'd like to say good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. And it is indeed my pleasure to extend my warm greetings and heartfelt goodwill on behalf of the leadership of the Institute, and also to salute the leadership, the chair and vice chair of the Women's Group, for this awesome gathering that they have organized today. Today's fireside chat, as has already been said, is not just another gathering. It is a convergence of experience, of wisdom, and aspiration. It is a celebration of the power of shared stories, of lived experiences, and the timeless lessons that shape great leaders. Our institute, the Chartered Institute of Directors, has always stood on the pillars of learning, of excellence, and intentional development and capacity building. This session embodies those values by creating a safe yet stimulating space for authentic conversations. We reinforce our commitment to equipping our members and those who are yet to join us with insights that are both practical and transformative. We are particularly delighted to have our distinguished guest speaker today, somebody that I have a lot of respect for, a lot of admiration for, and who I've had the privilege to serve on boards. Our guest speaker, Dr. Mrs. Mosun Belo-Olusoga, fondly called Auntie Mo. As has been said, she's an icon. She's a boardroom guru. She's an executive par excellence. She's also CEO of her own consulting firm, amongst many other laurels on her cap. And her leadership journey has inspired many, and her impact continues to resonate across industries. Her presence today affirms the importance of her mentorship and collective wisdom and the courage to keep evolving and to share and to download the experiences, the lessons that she has gathered along the way. To the organizers and the leadership of the women's group, I would like to commend your vision and dedication. This fireside chat, themed real stories, real boards, real impact, is a testament to what is possible when passion meets purpose. May this become the first of many enriching platforms that deepen our engagement and strengthen our community. As we listen actively, learn, and reflect this evening, I hope each of us will leave with renewed clarity, strengthened resolve, and a spark that fuels fresh ambition. May the conversations we share tonight echo far beyond this room, guiding decisions, uplifting journeys, and inspiring leadership that makes a difference. Thank you very much for the opportunity to say a few words this evening, and I wish you all a profoundly impactful and enlightening session. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, ma'am, Mr. Abuela, for that goodwill message. We're even more confident that we have the choice of our guest tonight is the perfect one. Thank you, thank you. This gathering, I must say, has the presidential seal of approval. Also on this call tonight is the chief host, the 19th president and the chairman of the governing council, Otunba Adetunji Oyebanji, F.CIoD. Thank you for making time out to join us this evening, sir. You may please give us your opening remarks and declare the session opening, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, YBB. It's a great pleasure to be here. I recognize the first Vice President, Mrs. Amina Oyagbola, F.CIoD. I recognize the Chairman of the Women's Group, Mrs. Ronke Shokefun, F.CIoD. I also recognize the Vice President, Dr. Janet Adetunji. I recognize any past presidents or elders of the Institute that may be joining us this evening, members of the Governing Council. I do have some prepared remarks, but before I go into that, firstly, I just wanted to commend the women's group. I know that Mrs. Shokefun, I would say, I've known her to be a very dynamic leader. This is emphasized this evening because I'm just looking at my screen and I see Ronke Shokefun in about 6 or 7 different places. So I'm a bit amazed that she's able to divide herself into 6 or 7 places, but knowing who she is, she can do the unbelievable things. So I think one of the first things I want to say is that the women's group of CIoD is fast becoming the most vibrant, the most active, and may I say, the leading sectoral group in CIoD. If you remember the speech I made at my investiture, one of the pillars that my tenure will stand on is one of engagement. And I think there has been no sectoral group that has demonstrated that principle better than the women's group. And I commend you for it. I hope you will keep it up. Your success is our success. So I'd like to assure you of the continued support of myself and the Presidium to all your activities. Troubles here and there, we find ways of resolving our issues and moving on. So thank you very much for all the work and all the efforts that you do. I also want to recognize the guest speaker, Dr. Mrs. Mosun Belo-Olusoga. I want to gate crash and join all the people who have spoken before, and now add my voice to saying, Auntie Mo, you are welcome. We look forward to a very inspiring time with you. Hopefully, we will have the opportunity to listen to some real life experiences. I've had a few myself, working on various boards, which have been quite interesting. So hopefully we'll be able to listen to you this evening and, get your own perspective on some of these issues. So without wasting much more time, let me quickly run through what is the official remarks that I have to make this evening. So good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here before you all today. To the Women's Group Executive Committee, chaired by Mrs. Ronke Shokefun, I want to appreciate you for all your efforts and dedication. The Women's Group of the Institute has been created as a vital platform for candid and necessary dialogue, engagement, and advocacy within the women's community of the Institute. And I want to appreciate you all for your dedication and continued leadership. To everyone who has taken out time today to join this virtual event, I want to especially appreciate you for being here. Your presence demonstrates a shared commitment to not just observing change, but to driving it. The theme for today, real stories, real boards, real impact, is incredibly timely. It moves us past the rhetoric of diversity into the realm of lived experience and measurable contributions. For too long, the narrative around women in the boardroom has been focused on numbers, a preoccupation with quotas and pipeline issues. While metrics are essential, they only tell half the story. When we speak of real stories, we mean acknowledging the nonlinear career paths, the double standards, the moments of resilience, and the triumphs that are often edited out of the professional biography. Real boards means moving beyond tokenism to embracing a culture where different perspectives are not just invited, but truly integrated into decision-making. And ultimately, real impact is the bottom line result. Greater innovation and superior today, inspired by this theme, must be comprehensive. First, we must be authentic leaders. Don't conform to an outdated mold of what a director should look like. Bring your full, real-life experience to the table. The human capital, the diverse perspective, the collaborative style, among others. Second, We must champion transparency and demand change. We must press for board recruitment processes that are transparent, merit-based, and that intentionally seek out diverse candidates. This is how we shift the needle from an exclusive club to a genuine corporate asset. Finally, we must mentor and sponsor powerfully. Your real impact will be measured not just by your own success, but by how many rising leaders you bring along with you. Be a sponsor who actively advocates for a woman when she's not in the room. This event should be about sharing lessons and legacies, a legacy where the boardroom reflects the world it serves. Today, as we hear these real stories, let us listen not just for inspiration, but for instruction. Let us use this knowledge to challenge the status quo, to mentor our successors, and to redefine what excellence in governance truly means. Thank you all for listening. And on this note, I'd like to declare the session formally open. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your words of wisdom and encouragement for tonight. Okay, so let's go right into it. Now that the session is formally open, I'd like to welcome our moderator for tonight. She's going to be moderating the conversation that we are all looking forward to. This is none other than Dr. Janet Adetunji, F.CIoD, Executive Leadership, High Performance and Transformation Coach. I was looking at her, when I was asking her to just send me something so I can know her better. I was just looking at this and I said, affiliated with certificates and degrees from Harvard Business School, Washington University, Yale University. She's a board certified coach. Aren't you thoroughly looking forward to the conversation already? Our able Dr. Janet Adetunji, please come on tonight and please go ahead and moderate the session for tonight's.
All right. Thank you,
ma'am.
YB.
Give me a second.
Thank
Give me
you
a
very
second.
much. All right, we'll get right into it. So I would like to once again say good evening to everyone. I'm going to just rest on the protocol already established by our chair, Mrs. Ronke Shokefu. So we'll go right into it. Indeed, you're very warmly welcome to today's Boardroom Diaries. This is series 1, and it's really all about real stories, real boards, and of course, real impact, where we go behind the titles to uncover the real stories, again, the real lessons, and the real moments that shape impactful leaders. This is a conversation. It is not about positions. It's about a journey, growth, wisdom, and impact. So I would like to use this opportunity to introduce our guest formally. Indeed, our chair has already mentioned something about her, but I think because she's our guest, we really want to know a little bit more about her. And indeed, Dr. Mrs. Mosun Belo-Olusoga. Good evening, ma, once again. Okay, Dr. Mosun Belo-Olusoga, she's popularly known as Auntie Mo, and she is the lead consultant, Chief Executive Officer of the KRC, which is the Knowledge and Resource Center Limited. It is a world-class services provider with specialty focus on credit training. Auntie Mo holds a BSc degree in economics from the University of Ibadan, graduating with a second-class upper, and she's also a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and an honorary member of the Chartered Institute of Bankers. She began her career as a trainee accountant with the then Messrs. Coopers and Lybrand. She qualified as a chartered accountant. She also had winning first place prizes, when she was the graduate during her final exams. And also she got the award of the Society of Women Accountants of Nigeria. She subsequently moved to where? The Continental Merchant Bank Limited towards the end of 1986 in a bid to change her career to banking. And she joined Guaranty Trust Bank PLC as a pioneer staff in 1990, where she gained robust experience, having headed the major core banking groups, including investment, corporate, and commercial banking, transaction services, risk management, and settlement, domestic and international operations. She retired as an executive director, the head of the bank's Southwest Division, responsible for all marketing operations. And I'll go in there. Let me just add this bit to her profile. Auntie Mo has a record of many firsts, and I'm going to read them out. Okay? She's the first female executive director of Guaranty Trust Bank. She's the first female director of Access Bank. She's the first female director of Premium Pensions Limited. She's the first African director, Global Alliance for Women in Banking. She's the first female chairman of Access Bank and the first female pro-chancellor and chairman of council of the Olabisi Onabanjo University. Now, during her tenure as chairman of Access Bank, she recorded an unprecedented growth in key parameters, which has seen it actually emerge as Nigeria's #1 bank in several key performance indices and Africa's largest bank by customer size. She was also the first co-chair of the Nigerian chapter Women Corporate Directors, WCD. Auntie Mo has attended several local and international training programs during the course of her career. She is a product of some of the world's prestigious business schools, and you want to hear this. She's a product of IMD, Harvard, Kellogg, Columbia, Chicago Booth, and M.CIoD. She is the past chairman of the Equipment and Leasing Association of Nigeria. She's also past acting MD of Trust Bank of Africa. She's the current chairman of MTN Foundation. She's also the current chairman of Mainstream Energy Foundation and FCSL Asset Management. And she serves on the board of a number of companies, including NGX. She is a proud recipient of 3 honorary degrees in accounting, banking, and science. Auntie Mo is passionate about knowledge sharing, personal and professional grooming, and the quest to transform children into responsible, socially responsive, and culturally balanced young adults. This has led to the founding of the City of Knowledge Academy as a vehicle to achieve this vision. Wow, wow, wow. Can we please give a virtual hand of applause for our guest speaker for today, Dr. Mrs. Mosun Belo-Olusoga. Ma, do I have the permission to call? Auntie Mo, wow, wow, wow.
Thank
Amazing.
you.
Wow. And indeed, we really do look up to you because you have such a story filled with real impact. And thank you so much once again for honoring our invitation. So I'm going to get right into it. Let's start with your early life and your foundation, okay? Now, indeed, every leader has a story before the spotlight. I'd like you to share with us what your childhood was like, those early environment days, and what were the values or the lessons that shaped the leader that you actually are today?
Thank you, and thank you very much, C.I.O.D, the women's group. I think I should join your group because I'm a woman and I'm a member of C.I.O.D. Growing up was my parents middle class, well educated. My dad was an accountant, so you see why I became an accountant. But I'll tell you the story about that. So my parents gave everything they had to their children, and they were very, very nurturing, but they were very different. My mom was very, for lack of a better word, very, very aggressive. She was a very go-to person, very, very disciplined and a disciplinarian. My mom, typical African mom with 40, badi, go, didn't believe, and she'll say, I can't have a child I can't talk to, so different slaps, and you actually still stars. So we learned how to dodge some blows. My father was very, very religious. He was a touchy kind of person, and I think I took after him. My mom, when you hug my mom too much, she's like that. But my dad is always hugging, very, very religious, and so they balanced each other very well. And so one thing about my parents was that they were very supportive as to whatever you wanted to do. And because they trusted us, we didn't want to disappoint them. So it was a very loving. I have 5 siblings, and we're all very, very close. So I think when you have the support of your family and your parents, my parents are late now, but it's as if they just died. But my dad is going to be 30 years that he died in February next year, by God's grace. So we still talk as if it's very recently that he passed. So my siblings and I are very, very close. So anything that happens to anybody, all of us, it happens to all of us. So that's the kind of childhood I was privileged to have. You get rewarded for good good behavior and good performance, and you also got sanctioned for unacceptable behavior and performance. So in my house, anybody that graduates will get a brand new car. But I mean, I think I was the last. My 2 older siblings got brand new car. I got a brand new car. I was a hot chick. I had 100 prelude. And I was feeling cool with myself. But my other sisters, things got very difficult. I mean, so they got previously owned cars. So very, very supportive. So when you enter university, we are sure of a holiday and things like that. So for me, I was very fortunate in the kind of family that I grew up in.
Fantastic. Wow. I can see that discipline,
Yes.
religion,
Yes.
focus.
And my parents were very time conscious. If my dad says 10 o'clock, if you're not in his car by 5 minutes to 10, he will drop you.
Wow.
He will
Wow.
drop you. And nobody can cheat my mom's child. No. She will fight you to the ground. Very, very supportive. I remember, sorry if I can just share this. When I was entering university, I wanted to do economics. I was given geography. My mom went from office to office to ensure that I got a change. And they said no, that this was pre-jam anyway, that what I could do. So one professor said, let me advise you, let her go in for geography. And then if she does well, she should do all the compulsory program courses for economics. And if she does well, she will do a change of courses. And that was what we did. And and it was just because of the tenacity of my mom. Otherwise, I would have just taken geography, which I didn't particularly like. So my mom was very, very. There was not a no in. I mean, she has turned the no from her dictionary. There's no, there's no quit in my mom's dictionary.
Fantastic. Let me first extend my deepest condolences on the passing of Papa. So
and Mama, my mom died almost 28 years ago too.
Yes, and Mama too. May they rest in perfect peace.
Amen.
Wow, I can really see the discipline, religion, focus, support that you got, from family influence, and amazing. I'm sure that those lessons have actually shown up later on in your career, because you talk so passionately about your parents and the impact that they have had on your life, and we can see that, and that's lessons for us in parenting, whether we're young or old. It's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, Auntie Mo, I would like to ask you, was there a pivotal moment or a mentor possibly early in your life that actually influenced your outlook on success? your outlook on discipline and your outlook on purpose? I know you mentioned your parents, but, any other pivotal moment or mentor?
I think when either a teacher or a boss believes in you, it gives you that oomph, it gives you that momentum. So my first kind of person that believed in me was my principal. I went to Our Lady of Apostles Secondary School, Mrs. Shoson. I don't know what she saw in me. She just thought that, oh, this is, when you tell somebody that you're brilliant, even if you're not, you become brilliant because you don't want to disappoint that person. So Mrs. Shoson was somebody that just picked me out and said, you can do this. And obviously, as when I joined Coopers, my land partner was Mr. F.CIoD, God rest his soul. He too just had so much confidence in me. And he will send me to all sorts of places. So I'm in Boko today, I'm in Port Harcourt tomorrow. So after a while, I complained. And he says, no, Mosun, it's because you're good. And I think Mr. F.CIoD told, because some customers will now specifically request for me, right? So I couldn't now complain. But he just believed in me. And so that was for Coopers. And when I joined Continental Merchant Bank, I had my first group head, Mr. Jakaye, he too died. So the first assignment he gave me, and he was just so flattering, and just came to the banking hall and said, there's this new girl, she's just on fire. And you don't want to disappoint when you get some of those positive feedback. Then when Continental was doing the strategic planning exercise, so we hired Arthur Anderson, and they chose some members of staff of Continental Merchant Bank. I was one of the people, and we did the presentation, and people were looking, oh, I thought you were a consultant. And, all those things are just, they fuel your wanting to do good and to be better than people are saying you. So those, and I mean, for then Guaranteed Trust, Fola and Taya were just incredible. Fola, especially for me. Fola had such belief in me that there was no way I could fail. He was my African father. He will sanction me more than necessary, and he will withhold rewards because I would go and represent Fola anywhere. So if he's looking for anybody, he'll just call me. So can you go and represent me here? And that gave me that exposure, right? And because somebody believes in you so very much, you don't want to disappoint. So those are the kind of influences that I was fortunate to have.
I really do love what you have said, Antimo, because the truth is a lot of we women don't really see our true value or even our gift.
True.
Other people see it. And I really love the way mentors saw it in you, even though you didn't see it immediately. And they motivated you to keep going on because you felt like, you didn't want to disappoint them. And I'm sure
let me also tell you something.
Yes, ma'am.
I was very, very shy growing up, very, very shy, painfully shy. And I even till now, I'm more of a back person that I let my work show for me. I'm not somebody who will be in your face. And that's why I like today's woman. Today's woman will not be a wallflower like people like me. I went to sign something at my line ED's office, Mr. Kelebiaro. And I said, I've never seen you. I had been in Continental Merchant Bank for about 3-4 years. I said, what's your name? I said, my name is Mosun Belu. I wasn't married at that time. I said, oh, I don't know you, but I know your work. So that was how I operated. But for today's woman, it will not work, right? I encourage young people these days that let people put your face to your name, right? Then when you become more recognizable, then people will say, oh, I know Janet, that girl, but if it's just a name, there are too many names. So just that's an aside.
What I gather from that is visibility is very important.
Very, very important. Very important.
Because definitely you are a shining star. There's something that they saw, gentle giant, they saw something in you. Well, I'd like to ask, what do you think stayed with you from those mentors?
Resilience, not giving up, and always putting your best foot forward. Because I tell young people that, a lot of things is not what you're doing now. It's your antecedents. And be careful of what you do, because you don't know who you are inspiring or who you're demotivating by your words, by your actions. So always put your best foot forward. So what Fala was incredible. I mean, I will say, oh, Auntie Mo and Hafola again. But he was just so intentional about bringing, he will give me books, the Harvard book summary, right? He will just be sending me. So I'm constantly reading and I'm constantly representing him. Therefore, I'm writing papers for him. And, he's giving me credits to review. And because he trusted my judgment, I couldn't fail. Again, when he's not around, I had his power of attorney. So the responsibility was also a lot, right? Well, God's grace is
I love the fact that you are also determined to succeed. People saw things in you, value in you, but you're also determined to succeed. And yes, I agree with you, Auntie Mo, that you never know. I always say people are mentoring. You are mentoring from a distance because you do not know who is watching you, who is emulating you, who wants to be just like you. And this is far and beyond. And you don't have to see them. While, to be a mentor, you can be mentoring from a distance. Thank you so much, Auntie Mo. All right, I want to ask now, because amazing, because you look like that, up and rising shining star right from youth. Was there a moment early on when something clicked, when you said, this path is mine?
I wanted to do medicine, because, when you're fairly intelligent, the obvious choice is go and do, and you're a science student, go and do medicine, right? So I wanted to do medicine. Then I had an accident in school. I was supervising a class. One of the girls wanted to run out. So I put my foot, and we had glass doors. So my foot got rammed in the glass and arteries caught. So I was in hospital for about a term. I was in Louth for about a term. And that cured me of my love for medicine. I discovered I didn't like the sight of blood. So the next best thing was, okay, I was very good in math. I said, okay, maybe I should become an accountant like my dad. So I shifted from medicine to accountancy. But I loved accountancy. I loved accountancy. So when I was in Coopers, I was doing audit, right? But after a while, audit became very, very monotonous for me. So I just said I needed a change. So it was when I was in Continental Merchant Bank, and I discovered that the banking was very, very diverse. So I started in budget and finance. I moved to corporate finance. I moved to leasing. I moved to, we called it credit and marketing at that time. So I just thought, oh, this is nice. I can do so many things as a banker. So that did it for me. And I think my open-mindedness, because I really don't mind anything. Even if I don't have the experience, I'm willing to learn, right? So I'm very, very open-minded. So any new department, I'm just like a sponge, soaking it in and learning and asking questions and things like that. Yeah, at times you rise, at times you fail, and I'm not afraid to fail. So it was when I was in Continental, I said, okay, banking is good for me.
Fantastic. Again, eager to learn, eager to want to do something that really gets you off your toes, eager to succeed. And that's great. We can see that. And I can really align with you. Having worked as an auditor myself, yes, it can be very boring. And if you're somebody who's up and about, who really wants to do great things, you want to change. One difference. Thank you so much. All right. So from your foundation, let's move on to the forward movement. And let's now look at your journey in your career. Okay. And those turning points, of course. So, Auntie Mo, people often see the polished side of leadership. They don't actually see the bumps. I'd like you to share a time when things did not go as planned and how you found your way through it as a leader.
I mean, sorry, but again, Fola. Right. There was GT when we started was like, we used to call it University of Guaranteed Trust, because every weekend we were in class, we were doing retreats, we were doing trainings and things like that. So we had a retreat, and I think it was anchored by Athanderson and Dr. Suleiman. And it became very, very long, very monotonous. So somebody had a novel, and I just picked the novel. As I flipped it through, Fola just looked and saw me with the novel. He just flipped, and he sent me out. We were in Ogiri. I had to leave, just go and pack your bag, go. So my husband and I had to, when the retreat finished, we had to go to his house, begged, kneeling down, and Fola has a caustic tongue. He abused the living daylight out of me. I can never forget, right? So, and I said, look, I couldn't even tell him that the novel wasn't mine, because then I'll now put the person who had the novel in. So I had to take it. So at that time, he told me that, leadership comes with responsibility, that there might be some things that you don't like to do, you will have to do because you are a leader. Can you just give me something? Somehow my
You're welcome back.
I'm sorry.
You're welcome.
I think I was going to use my laptop. I forgot to charge my iPad. I beg your pardon.
That's okay.
So so Fola said to me that leadership comes with responsibility. So as a leader, there will be some things you might not want to do, but because other people are looking at you, so you have to. So yes, you might be bored in the training session, but you have to engage. And because once you do something, people don't do what you tell them to do. They do what you do, right? And you don't have the moral grounds to tell somebody that do this. And that's what I tell my subordinates, that there's nothing that you're doing that I haven't done. You are sleeping in the bank. I've slept in the bank. You're doing this. I've done that. And, when I join a group, okay, for example, when I joined settlements, it's operations, foreign and domestic operations. I was the group head. Foreign operations was very, very new to me. But domestic operations is more like accounting. So we keep the book. So domestic operation, I had that. So what I did was I sat at the banking hall, and the person who taught me how to approve from ends was an ET. I was a DGM at that time. So you have to be humble to know that, okay, I don't know this, learn. Because if you don't learn, how can you properly supervise? So I learned all the processes. I understood what was being done. So when it came, because then after a while, I was now approving LCs myself. So I said, okay, your table appears very busy. Customers are waiting. Let me approve the Form N. I remember one time I sent one approval back, and I told the team lead to know that you've made a mistake. I said, really? I mean, he's been doing this since maybe for 5 years. And said, but Auntie Mo, you just joined us 3 months ago. I said, yes, you've made a mistake. My role as your supervisor is to learn faster than you and to be able to contribute and add value to you. So if I let that mistake go, then I haven't added anything. I haven't earned my salary. So I said, but that's how I operate. Yeah. So as a leader, I think we need to be humble to know when we can't know everything. It's only God that knows everything. Be humble, learn, but learn faster so that you can contribute to the people that you're supervising. So yes, there will be some times. I remember when they made the first set of EDs in Guarantee Trust Bank. I was a 2-3-year-old GM. Shegun was an AGM, the current MD. Herbert and I were DGMs, right? And everybody said, oh, Auntie Mo, they are telling you stories, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I didn't come to the bank because of anybody, and I will not go because of anybody. When it's time, I will know. And God rest Tayo's soul. So he came to my office. He says, are you upset? And I said, Uncle T, people don't believe it, but I am not. And he says, don't be upset. Don't let people make you make rash decisions. And he's a very realistic person. He said the salary is good, right? And you're a very valued member of the team and things like that. And yes, so when Fola and Tayo are not even in town, I still have the power of attorney. So my EDs will still come to me to approve credit and things like that. So that makes me tell people that you need to have that competence, that no matter where you are, people will come to you for that competence. And that is what I say, competence now gives you the confidence to say, I know this is my forte, right? I know this stuff. So don't joke with me. I'm the capo here.
Yes. Leadership comes with responsibilities. And you have to be humble because you actually don't know what you don't know. So it's important that you're open enough to learn new things, even from a subordinate, is what I understand.
But yes, do you know that there are some people who are so blinded by the boss cap that they're wearing that they'll just go and do it. Just go and do it, right? Go and figure it out. My own role as a leader, I call myself a coach. I will teach you first. I will give you all the resources. Then it's now left to you to sink or swim. And, then because I will say that, well, I have taught you this. I will sit with when I was in commercial bank, they wrote horrible credits. They were not that strong in credit, but credit was my own area of specialty. So I will sit with my team leads and say, this is what you need to look at. This is what you look at. So having taught them, they too can teach their own subordinates. Then I will now require them to step up their game.
Lovely lessons on how to be the perfect, effective leader, because you have to learn fast and you have to also add value. And I agree with that strongly. I hope you learned a lot of lessons about yourself through that experience.
Yes.
We want to move on because we still have quite a few questions to go. So I want to just now move on to stepping into that boardroom, okay, where the stakes and the lessons really often tend to rise. So, Auntie Mo, you have sat on many important tables. What's one lesson from board life that every emerging leader should understand early?
I think a lot of us get very excited when we get invited to board. I've never solicited for any board appointment, to God's glory. Never. I've never put myself out. But I'm not saying it is not right, because at times you can say, I can do this. So when I have some mentees, I'm a Wimby's mentor, right? So I tell them that, yes, make yourself available, that, okay, send your CVs and things like that. But I've lost my train of thought.
What's one lesson from board life that
Yes,
I
okay,
pretty much
from board life. So one thing that I tell people is that you have to understand, why are you joining the bank, the board? Okay, somebody called me, oh, we'd like you to join the board. And I said, why? We need a female. I'm not a token female now. And I just declined. I said, I'm sorry. No, thanks, but no thanks. I said, why? We're trying to make up the quota. I'm not a quota, right? So if you ask me that, oh, come and join this board. Oh, why do you need me? Oh, you're an accountant, you've been a banker. I think you can be good in helping us put corporate governance in place. Then I'm motivated to join. So those are the kind of questions that you ask that, okay, it's flattering. A lot of people want me on that board. So first thing, why do you want me on the board? And try to understand the industry, the company, and the business. Because if you don't understand, then there's really nothing that you can add.
Yeah.
If you don't understand the business
want
of
to tell us,
is,
how do we prepare? How do we prepare for that, Auntie Mo?
Okay. So
give us quick highlights of
let me give you, when I joined the board of Premium Pension, I didn't want to go to Premium Pension because one of the shareholders said, Auntie Mo, can you please send me? We want to. We have only male directors. So PENCOM is saying that we have to diversify our board. So we need some people that are. We need somebody who is very good that can be part of our audit committee. So that means they need an accountant. I have a pile of my friends' CVs, so I don't even tell you, right? So I just sent the CVs that I have that were bankers, accountants. So I just sent. So I sent a couple, and they said, "Oh, can you please send your own as well?" I said, because I'm already on the board of Access Bank, so no thank you. So I sent mine as well to make 3, and he said, "Oh, congratulations." I said, "No, I don't want to be on the board because we're both regulated, both accounts, the bank and pension. So our board meetings will clash." And lo and behold, it clashed. Then the chairman called me and said, "Okay, we will move our own board meetings for you." And when somebody does that, I mean, it's very flattering. I say, "Okay, if you're doing that concession for me, I will join." I didn't know anything about PFAs and so when they are saying AUM, what is this? So I had to learn. Right? So number one, the terminologies. Number two, how do they make money? Right? How do you get these pensioners in? How do you serve them? And I'm continuously asking questions. So I'll go from the director and I'll go to that. Then I went around the company, that, okay, let me just, then from time to time, I'll ask this person. And one thing that I also tell people is that, please, it is your prerogative as a director. If you don't know something about the industry, ask for training in that industry, right? So you can't ask for training. It is your right, because you need the knowledge to be able to contribute positively. So I'm learning, and my style is, when I get on board, I listen first. I'm looking at the board dynamics. I'm listening to what they're saying, and from time to time, I'm interjecting with my unless there's something really, really very profound that I need to say. So initially, I'm quiet and I'm listening. I'm jotting down and things like that. Then I now start making my own contributions, because it is imperative that as women we need to be heard, because once a woman is on board and the woman is not performing, it sets us back years. So you have to come with good values that you're bringing into so good suggestions. And I was telling one of my former mentees that just got appointed on a board that don't be afraid to be the dissenting voice. And if they're not answering you, bring them back to the table that you haven't answered my question. So so one thing that I keep telling people on boards, please do not be afraid to air your view. Do not be afraid to go against popular opinion. And do not be afraid to say, I don't understand what is going on. And the beauty about our access is when we have our board credit committee, if there is any director that doesn't understand, I'll say, how about you need to take this back, and until you can convince everybody, this will be stepped down. And you will graciously say, we will step down, we'll do more work, and we'll represent.
Great insight, Santimo, telling us as women, you have to be bold, you have to be courageous, don't be afraid to ask questions. And if you don't know something, get the training, ask the training. And that is absolutely right. Okay, you talked about board dynamics. I just want you to share quickly if you had any experience in a tough board management dynamic and how did you navigate it? You know, especially when you're a woman on a board and maybe very few or the only one.
Yes, you know, I've been very, very fortunate to work on to be part of organizations that are forward-looking. I was very a little bit jittery when I was getting on the board of premium pensions because they were mostly they were mostly shareholders and directors. You know, when you're both shareholder and director, so your interests you know, if you're just a director, a business person, then you're looking at the bottom at some things. Okay, I'm looking at governance, I'm looking at putting things in place. But if you're both a shareholder and a director, you might be looking at the returns, the bottom line, and things like that, that you're not cutting off some cost. And I thought, oh, they are all men. And, you know, that maybe ego can now come in that, okay, you're just keep quiet. But they were so accommodating. And the chairman will say, madam, so what is your experience? And, you know, after a while, people will will start fighting that. No, she's my sister. Come and sit beside me. So they made me feel very, very welcome. So
Nice.
I haven't been on some boards. There have been some boards I have resigned from, not because of contention, but because, you know, the one particular one, we didn't have a board meeting, right, for a long time. And I could not be, you know, for board members, there is a collective and personal responsibility. I will not be personally liable for something that I'm not aware of. So I just said, sorry, I can't be part of these two boards, in fact, that I resigned from. And so for me, I haven't had, but at times when your personal ethics and the organizational ethics are different, you might need to step down.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, man. Okay, I want to just quickly ask you, let's move on to your legacy, okay? We're almost done. Legacy. I want you to, looking back now, you know, what are the personal philosophies or daily habits, you know, that have actually kept you grounded and that effective leader that you are today?
Okay. First thing when I wake up in the morning is my prayers, right? I'm very, very intentional about my prayers. And it's also in the morning that I send out my birthday messages, you know. So most of my birthday messages are very, very early. So then I do my exercise, right? Then I order my day, right? Maybe because I'm getting a little bit old now, so I have to do a to-do list. Then I'm crossing them off one by one. But I think for me, what keeps me grounded is that, number one, I'm a very, very strong believer in kindness, right? I think that people think then when you're kind, you're weak. It's very, very it's not kindness is not a sign of weakness. People know that Auntie Mo is nice, she's kind, but I'm also very, very disciplined. I tell my people that, look, I'm a GMO. I don't want to be a BO. I'm not going to do your work. So before they sack me, I'll sack 6 of you. And I have sacked 10 people before at the same time. So when they reported me to Tyre said, this one that is so quiet, I'm not even going to ask him I'm not going to ask her any question. There must have been something that you did for her to sack all of you at the same time. So I don't take those things lightly. So what my legacy is to say that Auntie Mo taught me. Auntie Mo motivated me. Auntie Mo supported me. But
Wow.
Auntie Mo, when they were doing my send forth in GT, so one of my team leads said, I had even forgotten that Auntie Mo will tell you, I will support you, but I will not pamper you. And it is true. Right? So I'm there to support, I'm there to coach, but I'm also there to push you. So when somebody calls me and says, Auntie Mo, people that have passed through me, either through when I was in bank or through this training, I get so much joy when they say, oh, I'm now the vice president, JP Morgan, or one person that does that very, very is Herbert. Herbert was my backup. And anywhere we are, so especially on International Women's Day, she said, I'm a strong believer. That is my Chamamo, so he always says, if not for Chamamo, I wouldn't be this strong credit. Herbert was a very good marketer, but he didn't have patience to sit down and write. So I had to force him to do that. God rest his soul. So, it gives me such pleasure when somebody who was that high will say, this person impacted me positively. So I have a lot of CEOs that are in banks now, and they'll say, I remember when I was working with Auntie Mo. I remember when I was working Auntie Mo. Somebody said, oh, my team, we didn't book any credit. Auntie Mo will just give you financials of companies and say, write the credit to hone your skills. So those kind of things give me
Thank you so much.
joy. Yeah.
And once again, Herbert, may he rest in perfect peace.
Amen. Amen.
It seems to have had a lot of impact. Yeah, just on the back of what you have just said now, just a couple more questions. You've actually influenced countless professionals, like you have said, and they all remember their days with you because you are indeed their mentor, whether directly or indirectly. And indeed, you are known actually today for pouring into people. You seem to like it, you seem to love it, and you want to continue to add impact and value. What actually motivates you to keep mentoring despite your busy schedule, and is there a story of someone that you mentored that still warms your heart today?
I believe, there's a time and a season for everything, right? And people will always remember how you made them feel, what you poured in them. It was only recently that I got a call from someone who didn't really even work with me, but she'll just come to me for advice and things like that. And I'm always available. Whatever I can do, I will do. And if I can't do, I'll just say, okay, what do you need me to do? So I need to talk to Dr. Adetunji. Okay, I'll call Dr. Adetunji. And if Dr. Adetunji will help you or not, but I'm always willing to help. That is me, because I believe that life is too short. Just do what you can to uplift other people. And for me, I'm very proud. I always say this: every board that I have been on, I have left with more women. When I was on the board of GT, by the time I left, we were 2. When Access was my best, I was the first. By the time I left, we were 6. So in premium pension, we were 2. So that's my
fantastic.
That gives me a lot of joy. That okay, you are the only one, but there's so many people. that are
Oh,
coming after
wow.
you.
Great, great, great legacy for inclusivity. All right, I'm wrapping up now with lessons for emerging women leaders, all of us in the house that really want to get something final from you, Auntie Mo. You know, many women look up to the leaders like you know, and they really wonder how you actually find your voice. So I just want to ask if you could give one piece of advice to women that are striving for the boardroom, not just to sit at the table, you know, but to influence it. What would that be, Auntie Mo?
You can't influence what you don't know,
Okay.
right? So for me, knowledge is key. So knowledge is key. Learning is key. And you have to have that backbone that I understand this. You know, I said before that competence gives you confidence, right? So once you know, then you can say, this is what I am bringing to the table, and I make bold to say, I'm a valuable member of this. And when you're not valued, leave, because once you know your self-worth, then you can, but always come prepared. As a board member, one thing that really upsets me when people are not prepared for meetings, you're looking at minutes and there's so many mistakes and you're the only one that is seeing this. Obviously, they haven't gone through. And I used to sit on a board of a company, and for 5 years, this gentleman never, it's either no comment or I'm okay. No comment, I'm okay. So I said to the chairman, I think you should have a conversation with this gentleman, right? Because I don't think, maybe he has other things, but I think you should have a conversation. So he either starts contributing or he should just make a graceful exit. So please be prepared, read your board notes, and have your questions ready. Don't be afraid to be dissenting, and just know your self-worth and make sure that the board that you sit on, the values of those people align with your own values. Because at times when your values are in misalignment, then you start compromising yourself. But you don't want to find yourself in such a situation, especially when the money is good. The money is good. Let me just sit down and let them do their work. No, please don't that, because your integrity is paramount.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Auntie Mo. Very inspiring insights that we've really, you know, nuggets, important nuggets that we've gotten from you this evening. And we're so happy that you've been able to share your real stories, your real boardroom experience, and indeed your real impact. You said competence gives you confidence. So as a woman, you really need to be confident about what you're going to bring to the table and add that value. All right, we've come to the end of the questioning aspects, Auntie Mo, and would like people to ask questions. I don't know whether they're going to unmute and ask their questions. We have time for a few questions from some people. Thank you so much, Auntie Mo,
I see one of my ladies.
sharing your Okay, so distinguished directors, aspiring directors, ladies, gentlemen in the house, this is an opportunity to ask Auntie Mo a question, or if you can write the question in the chat box as well, we can see your question there and we'll try and pick it up from there. So, yes, please. Questions. I see a lot of thank yous and clap, clap, clap.
I see a lot. And fun fact, you know, Auntie Mo, people thought that it was GT that did Auntie Mo. No, it's my oldest nephew that calls me Auntie Mo. And my family, even my dad, that's what they call me. So one day, Fola heard my older brother calling me Auntie Mo and said, oh, why are you calling your younger sister Auntie Mo? And said, oh, that's her nickname. That's what we call her at home. And he started teasing me Auntie Mo in the office, and that was how Auntie Mo went into GT and now banking. I call myself Auntie Mo as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, please drop your questions, please. If you have any questions for Auntie Mo, because she did have a very interesting and still has a very interesting journey, and we're still learning a lot. A lot of nuggets about really preparing yourself as a leader to sit on boards. As a woman, you need to know your onions. You need to really be prepared to add value. Don't just accept that appointment without knowing a bit about that company and what is expected of you.
And thanks. I see my my Access sisters on the board. They're here.
Oh,
Thank you.
fantastic.
I've seen
Okay.
Binta. I've seen Ifeanyiwa.
All right. Nice.
I've seen
Nice.
Josephine. Josephine is my GT sister.
Okay. All right.
So is Funlola Jeje. She's there as well.
Oh, Funlala,
So
okay.
there's someone raising a hand, Vice Chair. It's one of the Runkeshu phones. I'm not sure who it is, but
Okay.
there's a
I
hand
can.
up. We have several
Oh,
Runkeshu phones in the room.
we have
So
several. Okay, please.
Yes, that was what the
You've
chairman
raised
was
your
saying, the
hand.
president was
Kindly
saying.
unmute and ask your question. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Auntie Mo, for very insightful experience sharing. My question has to, I wanted to find out, has there been a time where you felt embarrassed or someone had taken you up as a lady? I mean, and it's been sweet stories, how inspiring, how you've been able to. Has there been any challenging moment when you felt maybe your gender was a challenge in the board or was more like an issue? And how did you overcome it?
On the board, no. But yes, at the workplace, yes. Like the time that Fola sent me out of a retreat, at times you will write a credit and, when you're not making money, like I said, Fola has a caustic tongue. He will abuse you, So yeah, there were lots of embarrassing moments. So it was not all smooth sailing. Anybody that says it's smooth sailing, it's not true. Yes, it's up and down, up and down, up and down. But by the time you draw a line, the trajectory will be up. But on the board, because I'm very, very particular about the board that I sit on, I don't take board appointments just for the sake of taking board appointments, right? So, and yeah, I am no, not because me too, I come, with the confidence. You can't embarrass me now. Even the way they will look at me twice before they want to say anything. So not on the board, no. I am sorry.
Thank you so much. Somebody has written here that
Thank you.
many women, thank you so much for that. Many women have competence, but they're not appreciated. Do you have anything to say about that, Auntie Mo?
To some extent, it's true. Where there is a position available and there are two people that are as competent, a man and a woman, 90% of the time it will be a man. I remember sitting on the board in GT. We used to have a collegiate promotion exercise, so everybody will sit, all the group head will sit, and each member of staff will be looked at their ratings, and those for promotions or otherwise. And so that is why it's very good to be what's the word, to be visible, right? Because at times if they don't know you, then you might get passed. Because there was a time somebody was called a D, and I'm saying, but isn't this the person that did this presentation? Isn't this the person that was on this committee? So from a D, the committee promotion committee rated her an A. But there was this instance that there was, okay, so Taya says, oh, this person has an MBA. I said, yes, this girl also has an MBA. Oh, he's an accountant. Yes, she's also an accountant. You know what he said? She's a woman. She said, it's not my time, and God will do it, and things like that. So yes, it happens. So don't let's kid ourselves that it doesn't happen. It happens from time to time. Yeah, and I told him my own experience. Yeah, I was senior to all the three EDs didn't meet me in university. None of them met me in university. But guess what? That's life, right? But don't, out of anger, leave an organization unless you're prepared. You know, like I said, a lot of people called me, no, this is an insult, you know. But I still became the ED, but yeah, it happened.
Thank you so much. We only have room for a couple more, two more questions. There are two here. I'm going to join them together. Somebody's speaking about having a boss that is sort of, she called male chauvinist, you know, but who feels that women should really be seen and not heard. And I'm combining it with somebody who said, how do you play boardroom politics? She's talking about playing boardroom politics in the sense that, how do you, when you are not really valued, when you're doing your best and you're not valued, what do you have to do? Can you showcase yourself as a better person? Because again, being seen and not valued, that's not nice. What can a woman do if she feels that she's undervalued, yet she's doing her best?
Call the person out. It has happened. I think we were in a meeting. It didn't happen to me personally because, like I said, I've been very fortunate. So there was this other colleague of mine. It wasn't in the boardroom; it was in the bank. But it can be an example. And well, I was saying, you haven't done this, you haven't done this, and the woman just flipped and just said, "But Tayo, I came to you. I told you this. I told you this. I told you this." So at times when you call them out, and that, okay, what else do you want? You told me to make this budget. I've made the budget. You told me to do this. I've told you. I've done that. So from time to time, just call them out. That okay. Then there must be something else that I'm not seeing, because I don't know. Just call them out. But like I said, you know, people think that, oh, Auntie Mo, nothing can be as smooth as you have said. Well, honestly, my boardroom journey hasn't been that tumultuous up and down. No. It's been, you know, in GT as executive director, as long as you do your work, your papers are correct and things like that, because you can't even afford to shame your MD and things like that. So everything, and most of the times they would have reviewed the paper before you do your presentation anyway. And access board is so free that everybody, argument here and there, you know, but nothing personal. Nothing personal. No, I don't agree. No, let me share my own insights. Let me talk about this. Let me, you know. So that is the kind of board that I sat on, and that is the kind of board that will endanger people to save their minds. You know, you can argue, nobody will take it personal. You can say no to a credit, nobody will take it personal. It's your opinion. You're entitled to it. So please don't be afraid to say your opinion. Absolutely. So when there's somebody who is like treating you because of your gender, call the person out.
I get that. So it still amounts to boldness, courage, professionalism. Absolutely.
Yes.
You see, I'm going to just indulge here. I do see our first vice president's hand up. I believe Mrs. Amina Oyagbola would like to ask a question. So I'm going to indulge and allow her.
I don't know what she wants to ask because she knows me in and out now. She's asking on behalf of other people.
Auntie Mo.
She's asking on behalf of other people. She's not asking. She knows me too much.
My sister, I want to ask on behalf of everyone. So I wanted to ask, you know me too well. I wanted to ask two questions. One, I wanted you to touch on the issue of emotional intelligence. So it's one thing to be candid, but it's also important to be nuanced when you're on the board. That's one. The second thing, and I think sometimes as women, we can be too candid and it can sometimes rub people up the wrong way. The second thing is, I wanted you to also comment on the importance of, you talked about, you know, competence, building your confidence, which is very important on this journey. So I wanted you to also comment on the importance of investing in your own development beyond, what it is that the organizations offer to you, and sort of helping us to loop that into, the relevance of CIoD itself and what we have to offer. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Beautiful question. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sis. For emotional intelligence, I have one of my colleagues in GT who is very, very fairy. And when you're arguing with your boss and it's tending to be disrespectful, he won't take it lightly, right? So we need to know how to couch our words. I'm not a very confrontational person. I remember we had a meeting. This was not on the board. We had it was a credit committee meeting, and Tayo God was saying something, and I said, "No, Uncle T, that's not right." So, what do you know? Blah blah blah. So I just kept quiet. Then after the meeting, I now went to his office and actually Uncle T. So I now gave him all the documents. And Tayo, God rest his soul, he didn't have any ears. The next day we had the meeting. Said, I was wrong, though. Actually, Auntie Mo was right. So that's the kind of person he is. So some other bosses would have just kept quiet. So I think you need to manage your bosses. You need to read people's. There will be some people who don't mind the way you talk to them, but there will also be some people who will mind how you talk to them. So read people and learn to couch your words properly while conveying whatever you want to convey. And with training, I tell people that don't wait until the organization trains you. With all sense of humility, I'm a very, very good credit officer, and that is what I live on now. But I've never gone for 1 day credit training that the bank sponsored. People have gone for 1 year Citibank training. People have gone to Chase training. I've never been. So it is all self-taught and by going to personal trainings that I sponsored myself. So if you want to develop yourself, you have to sacrifice for yourself. You can't give what you don't have. So sacrifice for yourself. And that is why I tell young people, you are young, so you have the capacity to multitask. So do your certifications, do your masters, do your PhD, do as many things as possible. Try to continue to learn, to develop. One thing, I know that I'm not very good in technology. So I'm attending technology courses. I'm attending courses on AI. So I might not understand everything, but I will understand. I'll still pick up some things therein. So obviously, it's really, really very important to continue to learn. And I've been on CIoD programs. I think the last one I actually did was a few weeks ago on AI. And it was very good. So yes, please continue to develop yourself.
Absolutely, Auntie Mo, and fantastic questions there. Great insights. Keep on learning. I'm amazed you're still learning about AI. And I remember being in a CIoD course, and you were there. And I was like,
yes,
oh,
we got even my son, Biola Salami was said, Mama, you're here. I said, yes, now.
Absolutely.
So I'm always on the programs.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Auntie. Great insights and lessons learned. And honestly, it's really about learning new things, unlearning old things, and relearning things that even we thought that we knew and we don't know, because you really don't know what you don't know.
Yes.
And it is continuous. This personal development journey is continuous. Indeed, if we want to really be competent and confident and add value to the boards. Auntie Mo, we are so grateful for your insights and for your authenticity in sharing your wisdom and your journey and the depth behind your leadership. Thank you so much. Honestly, your honesty and your insights, they've given us a lot of clarity and they've given us courage and inspiration. Thank you once again. And to everyone listening here this evening, may you carry, at least one lesson from today's session into that next decision, into that next meeting, and into that next bold step. Again, this is Boardroom Diaries. This is Series 1, Real Stories, Real Boards, Real Impact. Thank you for joining us. Auntie Mo, thank you once again. God bless.
Thank you. Nika, I see you, Kolawole.
So I hand over to YBB. Please take over. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. What should I say? What a session. What a session. What a session. Thank you, Auntie Mo. Thank you once again to our guest, Auntie Mo. Such a powerful, insightful session. Thank you to Dr. Janet Adetu as well for moderating. Thank you to all our leaders who were here tonight. Just before we sign off, the committee members of the women's group have a surprise gift for 2 women tonight. So we want to acknowledge the first person to register and the first person to sign up or to dial in this evening. So the first person to register is Madam Maureen Okoro-Soko, and the first to dial in tonight was Madam Sheung Oni. So please contact Tessie for your spa vouchers, just because, we know what women need at this time of year. You need to chill a little bit as we wind down. Thank you for all of the rich conversations. Again, another round of thanks to Auntie Mo, to the president, to the first vice president, to the chairman of the women's group, the distinguished members, and our guests, to every woman here. Thank you for making this first edition truly meaningful. And so as we leave tonight, I ask that you take all of these lessons with you and that you use them on your own journey. This is only the beginning. Good evening, ladies, and thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie Mo.
Thank you.
First
Thank you
Vice
very much.
President. And thank you, Mr. President.
Thank
You,
you.
everyone. And have a good
Thank you.
evening.
Thank you,
Thank
Auntie
you.
Enjoy the
Mo.
rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
Ronke, thank you. Janet, thank you very much. God bless you.
Good
Thank you.
session.